Joining us now is Representative Rodney Davis, the congressman from Illinois' 13th Congressional District. Congressman, thank you very much for joining us tonight. So really quickly, I just want to ask you about the U.S. response to coronavirus. You're on the Transportation and Infrastructure Committee. How do you feel about the U.S. preparedness when it comes to this, acknowledging the fact that we have seen some travel restrictions from the White House?
You know, we have seen some travel restrictions, especially when the coronavirus started overseas. This is an issue that I know the administration and our transportation community is working hand in hand together to address. We're going to see more cases in the United States before those numbers go down. And I just have faith that we're going to be able to come together tonight or tomorrow to help fund the fight and the response to the coronavirus, and at the same time allow the administration to get the professionals leading the charge to ensure that we have whatever restrictions necessary, but also understanding the freedoms that we in America enjoy and the potential for infection.
Yeah, it is kind of refreshing to see kind of some bipartisan support behind this bill, especially at a time when the American people do want to see some action be taken on coronavirus. It's not exactly one of those polarized subjects that we see a lot of times in our modern day politics. But there's another bill that I want to pivot to really quickly, and it's one that you've worked on, and it comes back to the idea of student loan debt. And it's something that you've worked on. It's something that you've kind of proposed just recently, actually, and it's another bipartisan bill that actually has a very good chance to pass Congress. And that's something you can't say about a lot of issues these days. So can you speak about that a little bit?
You know, bipartisanship does matter. You are absolutely 100% correct. People who try to make the coronavirus fight partisan are nothing but political hacks. And then we've also got to do something about the ever-growing problem of student loan debt. Just a few years ago, the federal government took charge of the loan debt in this country at a level that we hadn't seen before. And what that means is the taxpayers are on the hook if we see defaults on student loans continue to grow. Democrats have tried to demagogue this issue. They have decided that free college or complete student loan forgiveness is the way to go, when we know realistically somebody's going to have to pay for those programs. We have a voluntary private sector approach that is bipartisan, that would allow companies to help pay down student debt the same way that they can pay tuition reimbursement for their employees right now.
I think that's a really interesting way to go about it, because a lot of critics, for example, of the plan that Elizabeth Warren puts out there, or even Bernie Sanders, will say, yes, you can eliminate student loan debt, but that just kind of restarts the clock. I mean, that doesn't address the fact that colleges and universities are expensive, that then students will continue racking up debt moving forward, and at some point down the road, you're going to have to revisit that subject once again. So does your bill do anything to kind of address the fact that this is kind of an, I would say, continuous problem for young people, and that there's more of a systemic root to this issue too?
Absolutely it does. And you know why? It brings the private sector into the student loan debate. When you bring the private sector in, you're going to be able to have them help us control costs. Remember, many of these universities and colleges that are the schools where these loans are being taken out for students to attend, they're going to those same private sector companies to ask for donations to build new buildings, build new stadiums, stadium sponsorships. And when those private sector companies have students coming out of an institution with undue school loan and student loan burden, they're going to help us fight the increases in college tuition that we need to continue to fight to ensure that our students get the education they need, but also graduate without crippling debt that's going to stop them from investing in a 401k, saving for a home, realizing the American dream that they're getting that education for.
And I think this is important to bring up, too. You mentioned before that bipartisanship is very important, but I think this is even more so important for the Republican Party, too, because you see the Democrats right now kind of using issues such as this, such as health care for all, such as all these very appealing type of programs in order to kind of cater to the youth in the country. That's something that they've done rather effectively right now. And I think that Republicans need to kind of develop a counterpunch to that right now, too, because you can talk about giving away these free things, but I think Republicans really need to get the messaging across in order to combat the plausibility of some of these programs right now. So do you think that this is a good first step in kind of reaching out to a new demographic of the Republican Party?
I certainly do. Students who are in college right now, I have 3 kids in college myself, and there are many students that understand that nothing is for free. So when a politician touts that they're going to give them something for free, many students realize that they're just going to have to pay for it in future generations. And remember, just paying for 4 years of college and then having an employer fight for your services and offer to help pay down your student debt and be treated the same way by the tax code that tuition reimbursement is treated. They understand that once that debt is paid with the help of their future employer, that they're not going to have to pay it again. Free college means you're going to get your 4 years paid for, and then for the rest of your career, you're going to pay for everybody else's. That's not what the youth of this country want. They want a good education, an affordable education, and they want to be able to achieve the American dream.
No, I think you're right. And I think even on the Democratic Party, they kind of acknowledged that point last night. Yes, these are great programs. They're great in theory, but we kind of saw them rejected for the most part, acknowledging the fact that they kind of sided with former Vice President Joe Biden over Senator Bernie Sanders. So I think even the plausibility is an issue for them as well. But Representative Davis, thank you very much for joining us tonight.
Thank you.